Doesn't this kind of challenge the idea of that this is supposed to be a learning institution, though? I mean, if you're going to a class and you have a set of criteria you're supposed to learn,
Absolutely.
then you're coming out of it with either a watered down or
Yes.
a ramped up coursework.
Yes, I agree. No, absolutely it does. And the situation that we face as instructors is a difficult one. However, I would challenge students who find the grading curve approach a difficult one to think about it in this sense. What you all face, what the students face, is the problem of the grading curve. However, what the instructors face is the possibility that without testing, students would not learn the material. And with that as the purpose of your education, we have to create instruments. It's not a perfect world. I would love to think that every student wanted to learn everything that I was teaching in class, but they don't, right? And so we are creating an instrument to test in an imperfect world. And in a perfect world, wouldn't it be nice? But it's not.
So, do you know of any other method of trying to measure the success of students being able to learn the material and instructors being able to teach the material?
Yes, but it is a difficult one. So it's difficult to track. So when you get into longitudinal studies, you get into success rate, right? So a perfect example of this is IQ tests, right? IQ is actually not a predictor of success. A better predictor of success are things like ego skills and sociability, and people who are able to communicate and be social and have large networks of friends. That's if you sample US CEOs, they actually score higher in these ego skills than they do in IQ tests. But we use so in a sense what we're looking at here is that IQ tests are these exams that we're talking about now, but they're not predictors of success. However, it is difficult to follow individuals. So if you wanted to grade a student based on their ability to understand the class that you're in with me, communications theory, so then what, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, you're going to get your grade based on how well you've applied communication theory to the career that you've chosen, right? It's not easy to do. I have this issue all the time in my 102 class, which is public speaking, which is that people say, well, it's an easy A. Well, good. You. I'll give you an A. I will give you an A. But then if I do, what you won't get out of this class is what you're supposed to, which is the content of the class, right? It is not about getting a grade. And it's unfortunate that in our education system, we have such a focus on grades. And in a similar way, we have a focus in our corporate system as money being the ultimate thing, right? How much money do you make? Not do you like your job? Do you enjoy doing what you do? And in the same way in the education system, it's about what grade you get, how much you earned, and not how much you enjoyed what you were learning.
I have a course where I expect the students to read the textbook during the semester. It's a little bit of a dense textbook, but it's really an amazingly small amount of reading. And yet I get another chapter, we have to read another, and I think, I believe society still expects college students to be able to read at a relatively proficient level, and that means comprehend and understand the bulk of the material.
I think you said it yourself, and through the use of the word standard, which is standardization, right? And it's something that you have to have. Western civilization, Western culture, and certainly Western philosophy love to place this emphasis on the individual and on uniqueness, yet unfortunately, when you're dealing with population sizes that we deal with at a university, in the world, whatever group you want to talk about, population sizes are large enough that you have to have standardization. You just have to. There has to be some set rule, some set measure against which you're placing everybody and comparing them, right? There's no way to assess each and every student. Take one of my classes, for instance, 130 students. I cannot assess each individual student based on their own merits. I would never get anything else done. Hell, I'd never get an hour of sleep, right?
So what do you think of schools like Evergreen? I think UC Santa Barbara has a system like theirs that are not quantitative based. They write, basically you either pass, fail, or you have an excellent rating, and then they give a written analysis.
Right, the written analysis.
So what's kind of, do you feel that has significant disadvantages, or do you feel that there are some advantages to that style of grading? Or
okay, so my answer is yes. That's my answer. So yes, there are significant disadvantages because one of the major plus sides to standardization is generalizability, right? We can then compare how well people do compared to other people. It's great to find out that you did a good job based on your own merits, like good for you in that sort of like elementary school, like good for you for trying type of way. But in this real world that we've created, right? And I would argue that we've created. We need to be able to compare people. That's how things like the SAT and stuff, right, came about. We can compare people across dimensions, right, across large geographical spaces. And, how does John compare to Sarah, and, on these different levels and on these personality and intellectual dimensions, right? But so I think there's tremendous value for individual students in qualitative analysis and qualitative feedback of the type of work that they've done. However, what qualitative analysis doesn't do is provide any reasonable means whatsoever of comparing individuals' ability relative to one another. So you want to find out how well you did this year versus how well you did last year, qualitative analysis, terrific. Quantitative analysis would inform it, but qualitative analysis would be great, right? You can get supervisor feedback, things like that. But then when it comes to deciding how well you have done this year versus how well Sarah has done this year, is qualitative analysis going to really be the most helpful thing? How are you going to compare who did the qualitative analysis, what time of day you did the qualitative analysis, what mood the people were in, right? And that's why we need quantitative analysis. And as I hope any good academic would tell you, mixed methods approaches to research are always the best. If you can do quantitative and qualitative together, do it.